Is Pakistan a Khilafah state? Answer: Pakistan says of itself that it is a republican state. That's the name of the country, Islamic Republic of Pakistan. So it is a republican state. And a republican state, by definition, is a state in which Allah is no longer Al-Hakam. So you can do all the kinds of acrobatics you want to do with your objectives resolution. All the acrobatics you want with your objectives resolution. A republican state is by definition a state in which Allah is no longer Al-Hakam. You do not govern and rule on the basis of Al-Haq or truth, but rather it is the people who decide. That's a republican state. But it also declares that it is an Islamic state. And there's only one way to interpret the word Islamic, that's all, only one. And that is that Pakistan is claiming that it is a Khilafah state. Full stop. Once you say you are an Islamic state, it implies that you're claiming to be a Khilafah state, full stop. You can't be a Khilafah state and also a republican state. So someone has to solve this problem. In Pakistan, you cannot be a Khilafah state and also a republican state. Well then, what do we do? Answer: we have to recognize that Pakistan is a member of the United Nations organization and has remained comfortably a member of the United Nations organization from the day it was born. Ahmad Sukarno took Indonesia out of the United Nations, but no one ever in the history of Pakistan even raised the subject. So Pakistan has been comfortably a member of the United Nations organization from day one. And therefore, supreme authority does not lie with Allah. The Security Council of the United Nations, Article 25 and 26 of the Charter of the UN, if you want, you can go and check it out. They control power. If the United Nations give you an order to stand up, the Security Council, you got to stand up. Allah could tell you sit down, but if the Security Council says stand up, you have to stand up. That's a republican state. Pakistan has been a member of the International Monetary Fund from day one. No one has ever shown any discomfort in Pakistan. None. No leader, no government, no party. If I'm wrong, kindly correct me. I'd be very happy to know. The International Monetary Fund says, Allah made this halal, but we are making it haram. That's there in the International Monetary Fund, the Articles of Agreement. Go check it out. Go and check it out. If you make haram what Allah made halal, it is shirk. And if you accept what they have done, you are now a part of the shirk. It is the one sin that Allah will never forgive if you die with that sin. Maybe this explains the hadith that you never hear anybody quoting, but is there in Sahih Bukhari. That on Judgment Day Allah will say to Adam alayhi salam, take out the people for Jahannam. And Adam alayhi salam will ask, how many are they, O Allah? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would say to Adam alayhi salam, out of every 1,000, take 999 for Jahannam. It's only shirk which can explain that, nothing else. This hadith, what is it called now? Hadith which comes from Allah, what do you call it? Qudsi. Hadith al-Qudsi. Is actually sending a warning that there is going to be universal shirk in the world, so watch it. Pakistan is using the same bogus, fraudulent, utterly haram paper money, in consequence of which the masses are now miserably poor, while an elite drives around in expensive cars and live in luxurious villas and send their children to British and American universities, and they have a villa, yes, in Los Angeles, and they have another one in Miami, and oh yeah, because they're the shoeshine boys of those who use the monetary system to impoverish the masses. The Articles of Agreement of the International Monetary Fund make it haram to use gold as money. Even a schoolboy could understand. Even a schoolboy with the intellectual acumen of a schoolboy would be able to understand. The reason why they made gold haram is because so long as you have gold in the market, their bogus monetary system cannot exist. Even a schoolboy could understand that. So is Pakistan a Khilafah state? The answer is no. Can Pakistan become a Khilafah state? For Iqbal, and only Iqbal, nobody else, it is possible for Pakistan to become a Khilafah state at a certain point in time. Only Iqbal, nobody else. Nobody else talks on the subject of Gog and Magog. We now come to the end of the lecture, that the moment in the historical process is approaching. And when that moment occurs, the backbone of Gog and Magog will begin to break. And as that backbone begins to break, a window of opportunity is then opened. And in that opportunity which now emerges, perhaps the best people, the people who are best placed in the world of Islam to wage a struggle for the restoration of a Khilafah state is Pakistan. It's Pakistan. It cannot be the Arab world. Why? Because our Prophet prophesied the Arabs are going to be destroyed. And he linked the destruction of the Arabs to Gog and Magog. We don't have the time to quote that hadith. Now let us come to the last part of the lecture. That the Khilafah state can be restored. And when the Khilafah state is restored, it won't be a member of the United Nations. It will have no superior authority over it. It won't be a member of the International Monetary Fund. No. It'll be using dinar and dirham as money. Yes. The Khilafah state can be restored. But before we turn to the hadith, which explains why and when it can be restored, I have a surprise for you. A bitter surprise. That there are people in the world today who are struggling to establish a Khilafah state. That's what they're doing. A bogus Khilafah state, but a Khilafah state. They want the state of Israel to become a Khilafah state. And when the angel said, remember, O Allah, you're putting mankind on the earth to establish the Khilafah. أَتَجْعَلُ فِيهَا مَنْ يُفْسِدُ فِيهَا وَيَسْفِكُ الدِّمَاءَ. Are you placing on earth those who will cause the historical process to be filled with fasad and bloodshed? That the historical process is now going to be corrupted and contaminated by those who want to establish a bogus Khilafah state? Yes, the angels knew it was going to commence with Pax Britannica. And with Pax Britannica you had fasad all over the world. Fasad is not only that which corrupts, but corrupts in such a way that it destroys. The British wanted the Khilafah state to be surrendered. And in order to get the Khilafah state surrendered, they needed more than Mustafa Kamal. Because they knew the world of Islam cannot be hoodwinked forever by Mustafa Kamal. They knew that the surrender of the Khilafah state could not be possible in the Arab world. So they turned to India. They turned to Muslim India. And they had to get Muslim India to surrender the Khilafah state in order for them to achieve the objective of the Muslim world surrendering the Khilafah state. And that's what they did in India. They surrendered the Khilafah.